Eric.
Hey, Trey.
Dude, it's episode 54, almost time for episode 55. It's late in the week. It's hotter than hell here on the pool deck, but we wanted to get an episode in. So we're going to review the best we can Salt Lake.
Yeah.
No,
Salt
Denver. Denver.
Salt Lake coming up.
That's how late we are.
Yeah, Salt Lake's 2 days away. We're
Yeah.
way behind this week. But
way behind, but you know what?
Work got in the way.
It is what it is. You see an extra microphone. We were going to have a 3-man booth. We were going to introduce a new analyst today. Contract negotiations got sticky, and we're going to have to do that later. But
we'll get them on.
We're still working on that. So we were going to have a 3-man booth, but in honor, we left the microphone and headphones because we're thinking about him in spirit.
Yeah.
But
someday he'll do this.
Someday. Hey, man, that everybody gets nervous when they're looking at that camera for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But so Denver concrete, Eli's home, Jason Anderson's closest race, chance for Jet to clinch a title, chance for RJ to put a little pad in the gift he was given a couple weeks ago. And really the only thing positive that happened is 2 brothers are now in the history books.
It's not the first time they made the history books either.
No.
I mean, it's not very often that brothers race in general.
Yeah.
Each other.
At the same level at the same time.
Yeah, the Hill brothers and Stewart's never. I mean, they've raced together, but not really.
Yeah, I think they did.
I don't think they were ever in the same class.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there the Volans? Did they ever race? The dad and the. Did they ever race together with one another?
I don't know. There's not really that many of them.
No, you had. What's his name? He used to do broadcasting. KTM's manager, junior manager.
You got to bring up names this time of the night.
Oh man, come on! He was a broadcaster last year. He was the on track guy.
I'm looking at
Oh, he and his brother
Daniel Blair.
Good
Lord.
And his brother raced.
I think we shouldn't be doing this in the evening.
Robbie and RJ Wageman. So I mean, there are some, but at the level of these
that
2
level,
guys,
it's very few and far between.
Yeah, it's but really, we don't have notes this week. Little shout out to my wife. She took me away for an adventure. We did a marathon last week. I know you see me as a runner. Everybody that watches this sees me as an unbelievable distance runner, and I have the physique for it. But I did a marathon. We didn't even get back. We didn't even get back into Florida until Tuesday, and we had to catch up on some work. So my excuse this week is I'm just behind. Real life caught up. So.
Same.
No notes, but we're going to wing it because really, usually we touch heavily on the heats and LCQs and the mains. There were some storylines that were important this week, and that's really what we're going to touch on, I think, is late season surge by Shimoda, which I was asked the question by my nephew, and I'll pose this to you. Is he for real, or is this always how Shimoda is going to be?
Like I think I've said all season long, if he can keep the bike on 2 wheels, that's where he's going to be. But it's keeping the bike there that is like impossible
for him.
Yeah.
But and I'll say, San Francisco. He did awesome in the heat, and then goes out in the main and fries his clutch,
which wasn't him.
So is that his fault, or is that just part of dirt bike racing? Like, I know that he's now proven this is how he is. He keeps coming on every season he's in, whether it's Supercross or motocross. He comes on these late season charges. I kind of feel like he's actually really good, and he's just had a bad luck.
He's definitely good. I mean, his results show it. If he can stay on the bike, he's top contender all the time. If he can stay there. I mean, the bike issues are not him. That's just dumb luck.
Yeah.
He seems to have quite a bit of that too, so put them all together. I mean, he should be where he was this weekend. And like, it should be consistent. And he's not consistent at all. Sometimes he's not even in the race. Sometimes he's mid-pack. Sometimes he's up front. Sometimes he's better than that, for sure. it's cool to see him like actually stay up front. If it's exciting. I don't know.
Start to
He
finish.
needs to be there.
Yeah.
I just hopefully he's finally jiving with the bike and he can put the pieces together and make something happen. And I mean, outdoors is not quite as fun as Supercross, but like I'm anxious to see if he gets that kind of time on the bike. Then can he come to SMX and really
Yeah.
put on a show?
Yeah, because that is, I mean, that is a valid point. The SMX plays such a vital role now. Those three races, they're worth so much, and you build all season for that. Second, we'll stay in the Honda realm. The Hondas, they figured out altitude starting. All of them across the board had very good starts,
Their ECU tuning was like on point.
which just pack that up, bring it to Salt Lake City because we're a little bit the same elevation style thing.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee they're going to retune again.
Yeah.
That's just it's like they find something and they got to keep messing with it.
But they nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, across the board, Hunter, Jet, and Shimoda all.
Yeah, they had it figured out.
So,
Lots and lots of testing. I mean, that's what it leads to.
yeah.
But they were off the gate before anybody the entire night. It was actually really impressive, like how they could fine tune that thing, the fuel delivery for the lack of oxygen was.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of skill.
Levi Kitchen, I think, did he win the other heat? Or I can't remember who won the other heats, but it's not super important. But the players that we're focused on,
Joe Shimoda won.
won.
Yeah.
And who won?
It's RJ won the other one, I think.
Oh, yeah, RJ did win the
No,
heat.
Nate Thrasher actually won.
RJ was right behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Nate Thrasher, he's another one of those enigmas wrapped in a riddle because he crashes his brains out and then goes out and wins a heat. But the players both made it through pretty easily. Congratulations to Levi Kitchen for even with that crash and the hit he took to those ribs to kind of look unfazed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ribs are a gnarly beast,
And
depending on how bad you break them. I mean, even if you crack them,
yeah,
they're a gnarly
you don't want to
beast.
laugh. You don't want to do anything. And he even I don't know. Fox had them in like the tightest gear they could have them in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for a flak jacket or something, and he didn't look like he just had chest protector
Yeah, I
on.
don't know. Maybe they might have wrapped it underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all you can do. Just ace bandage the living hell out of your rib cage and don't cough.
So we get to the main for those guys. We'll go ahead and we won't talk about the main, but we'll get to the main for those guys. The key players are in it. But by the way, there were some hard hits from riders who were playing no part in the championship, like weirdly picking sides, like Thrasher into Hampshire, like during the main. Jordan Smith isn't really close, so I can't imagine team tactics. Maybe Thrasher just lost his brain for a moment there, but we'll talk about that later. But we got the key players into the main. We jump to the 450s. We have Hunter and Jet Show.
Yeah, in the main.
In the main, but in the heat, Jet just cruises. Tomac cruises. There wasn't really like I don't recall storylines. Some of the storylines happened before the heats. Tomac casing. I mean, we're in Denver, the same track that cost him a title. He faced a triple. That was nasty.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was had me wondering if there was going to be a race after
ghost?
that,
Yeah.
because it was like not quite the same thing. It was worse than his Achilles. I mean, the Achilles was just a land and a snap, but he full on he cased that thing hard.
Yeah, and damaged his thumb.
Yeah. Well, that was on the bull turn, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that didn't help.
No.
So now both Yamaha riders are battling injuries, which Cooper's been battling an injury, but because of the privacy of this sport, we just found out about this weekend.
Yeah, Tomac's out for Salt Lake.
Oh, is he out?
Yeah,
Oh,
Tomac's he has to have surgery on that thumb to stabilize it.
really?
Yeah.
He just announced he's going to do outdoors.
Yep. So he's gonna miss the beginning of the outdoors, and he's hoping to be back like mid-season.
Okay. Well, SMX is too important to not.
Yeah, I think that's just what it
Yeah.
is. You might as well rake in the cash
I
while you
mean,
can.
if you have a chance to win $1 million, 500,000,
Might as well do
whatever,
it.
might as well do it. I mean, why not? So, and he's high enough in the points that he's going to be seated in, and if he can come back and get some top fives, get some more points
Yep.
for that seating.
Evan Ferry moved to gas.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes going on. I saw one the other day. Did Tim buy the team so that his kid could be on it? Like, ironically, you want to know something really, really weird? On the way home from Ohio,
hmm
we're on 75. All of a sudden, we pass, and I don't know what state we were in. It was going north. We were heading south. The Wildcat Gas hauler
Hmm.
going north, and I was like, they don't have anybody out west. They must be getting ready to head to. They must be heading to Salt Lake
Salt
for
Lake.
the East-West showdown. And then I read this story, and I'm like, "Oh, ain't that some poop?"
Doing a little bit of testing
Yeah,
with the ferries.
yeah. So that is a step down. You went from factory Triumph to gas
This
Wildcat.
bright and shining star that everybody's been waiting for, and you
Yeah,
go for Wildcat. I mean,
one.
nothing against them,
No, no, no,
but
no.
yeah, it's definitely a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
But maybe for him, it's not. I don't. He's had some success though, so uh,
yeah. And we'll see. We'll see what his outdoor skills are because he's not doing anything. He's going straight into outdoors. Um, but on the 450 side, Barsha looked good.
yeah.
Malcolm looked good.
Jet, Jet and Webb both won their heats. So you thought,
Yeah.
the battle's on.
And then Webb has his thumb injury as well.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe it's not too bad. I think once we got into the main, we saw that he couldn't sustain the pressure.
Even in the heat race, right going over the finish line,
Yeah.
he did. I don't even think he jumped. He just rolled the finish line and holding the thumb.
And it's bad. But Yamaha doesn't want to not have a rider in outdoors, so I'm guessing he will be the soldier to start outdoors and Tomac will come finish it up.
I mean, they'd have Justin
Oh, they
Cooper.
got Cooper in it. That's true. I forget that he's kind of the third wheel on a two-person
Yeah,
date.
and he's good at outdoors.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, they really wouldn't be slacking much.
No, especially if he gets a start.
Yeah, I truthfully think he's put on a good show in Supercross this year, but he's way better at outdoors. So
Yeah,
if he can get a start, then Star could still have Guy up front. I don't know about up front, but top
yeah.
10.
Okay, real quick before we get into the mains, what was your take on the track this week?
It's different, pretty gnarly. A lot of the Salt Lake almost looks the same if you've looked at the track map. There's a whole lot of back and forth over the start
Yeah,
straight.
I'm not. I feel like they got to do something with those.
That was my first thought on Denver. I'm like, they are crossing over so much. And then I look at Salt Lake. I'm like, why are they showing us the Denver track again? And then I see the subtle differences. I'm like, what? It's like the same
Yeah.
track except for a couple. They changed the rhythms.
And what's funny is people have been posting that they were building the track yesterday in a snowstorm. Like
Yeah.
but there's no humidity. So if it dries, it's going to be a dry track.
Yeah, I think even Dartworks at this point is like, screw this.
Yes,
It's the last race. Just build the same thing. Change the jumps.
we're done. But Denver, I thought Denver was hard. What made Denver intriguing as a race fan was there was that one tight 180, which some guys were breaking, sliding, and going. And then they started getting on in dirt track racing, they call it getting on the cushion. And they were just drifting out to the outside and then hammering down.
Well, it was another flat turn after the whoops again, wasn't it?
Right after the whoops,
Yeah.
hard right-hand corner.
Just like Nashville, which that I'm not understanding because it's not a smart move. I mean, it almost makes the whoops unblitzable.
Yeah.
Because you can't carry that kind of speed into a a flat
Are we
turn.
are we that scared of safety that we're making whoops now instead of blitzing them and heading into the bull turn and then cutting someone off? We're having to blitz 7, chop the throttle, slam on the brakes, and turn right.
I mean, that could be the play.
Yeah.
Honestly, that could be the. We'll tame the whoops down. You have to jump them.
Yeah.
You can't blitz. Which
But Supercross is meant to have the whoops blitzed until you can't, and then they turn into
and
jumpers.
that Dirtworks knows better than that. Like,
I don't think this is a Dirtworks thing. I think this is a AMA. Oh, we have hey doggy.
we got.
We have doggy.
She's gonna join the party.
So
Let me put her away.
I'll hold the fort down for a bit.
Trevor, come here.
Yeah, so we have these tamish whoops sections. There's only 9. You can see pictures that all the track maps were 10, 11 whoops, maybe 12, and all those track maps were shot before they instituted this rule. But I really hope that AMA, Feld, Dirtworks can come to a consensus. Maybe riders, maybe that role Trey Kennard had wasn't a bad role. Like, let's. I know you don't want a riders union, not you, but they don't want a riders union. But let's have some. Maybe the riders would like to have a little more separation. Do we want peaky or do we want slower? What do we want? Because right now,
give them the floor for a little
yeah,
while. I mean, that they're probably talking to a lot of the factory teams, which a lot of this stems from, I guess, in a way. But
can we say 3 of the factory teams and 1 person on those factory
yeah,
teams?
and that's really all it is. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not a across the board. They don't care what the privateers think. That's
yeah,
for sure. So it is still a show.
yeah.
So I guess they're going to be putting on the whoever carries the most weight and puts on the best show is going to carry the most weight
Yeah.
when it comes to decision making. I just this year it's so anticipated, like with the stacked class, and it has been good. Like it's actually been a while that we've carried a championship out till the end, especially in the 250s.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, 250s is tight.
especially neck and neck,
Yeah.
like it tied going in. Like that's
Pretty cool.
yeah, doesn't happen. But I also think like as anticipated as the season has been, and how good it has been, that like the AMA or whoever's playing a part in this is kind of screwing everything up.
Like this weekend, the track was racy. There were a couple of spots you can make passes. What made the track difficult was the marbling that was occurring. That's where Chase Exon washed the front end. Guys were
Yeah, and the
washing
track was
front
dry.
ends. Yeah, the track was super dry. They put water on it, but again, there's no humidity, so the water is not doing anything. It's just watering and then goes away, and you have this concrete base. So that's what made the track tough, was the concrete base. And if that's okay, we know going to Denver, it's going to be like this. You know, when you go to Seattle, it's going to be soft. You know, when you go to Denver, it's going to be hard. If that's part of the characteristics, that's cool. But we look at the track and it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go any further, can we go back to 250s and talk a little bit about racecraft for a moment? And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to say Ryder DiFrancesco.
Man, that boy.
And what can we talk about racecraft, dude? You are a professional racer. This is the problem with only racing 7 times a year as an amateur. You don't get enough gate drops because he got passed 3 times in the same corner.
Mm-hmm.
The same, like, dude.
He just couldn't. Like there's no blocking. Like that pass is coming.
Go to the inside and block the line.
Yeah,
you can't get past.
But there's so many times that he can pull lines that are unreal. I don't understand. I mean, that's what the 250 class is, unless you're a veteran 250 rider, which some of these guys, RJ Hampshire, that drags out the 250 reins for a long, long time. But the 250 class is to learn. But like Ryder has been top level since he was 4 years old.
But he was always leading.
Yeah, he won Loretta's at 4 years old. So now he's battling with the best of the best at this point. But like you you know better. Like you know better than to do.
It happened once. Cool. Okay. It happened twice. Ooh, I gotta. The third time,
Yeah.
dude, you are. I know Troy Lee is supposedly this really happy-go-lucky. It's hard to keep. At some point, does Troy Lee look at him and go, "Hey, dude, I, can you block
What
the
are you? Yeah.
inside?"
What are you doing?
Or
Are we racing? Or are we?
yeah.
Because it really wasn't like it wasn't even racing. It's almost like just letting them go.
No, I mean, that for some reason really caught my. I think Michelle and I both were sitting there like, is he really letting this happen? Like, go to the inside and block the line.
Yeah.
Like you can hear those guys behind you. You can. There's no way he didn't know. Like, oh, especially on those 180 corners where you can see who's behind you,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where that led from. It was the 180, 180, 180, or 180 and 180, knowing you're coming to that tight right hander. And yes, the premier line was to like you could jump up and jump over or jump over, but you had to go over the table if you're trying to block pass.
Yeah.
And he had it happen 3 laps in a row, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just racecraft to me. And that's one of those arguments that a lot of the media pundits will say, this is the problem with these kids that don't race enough.
Yeah. And well, while we're on the 250s and the racecraft, I mean, this has nothing to do with the racecraft, but Slade Varola was a prime example of the HRC figuring out
Yeah,
their tuning because HBI didn't have time to figure it out and they struggled. But the LCQ Slade, it's like they finally figured it out because he got a hell of a jump
yeah,
and then got taken out.
that was a big crash.
Yeah, and it was
Wiped out a lot of people.
I can't even remember who went down, but it's unfortunate
Yeah,
because he was on like it just sucks that they finally figure it out and then you get taken out over something stupid or somebody else's stupid mistake just came whoever it was. I honestly it's gonna drive me nuts, but
I swear there was a 9 in his number.
they came in too hot
Yeah,
and unfortunately it just grabbed Slade. But I think that would have put him into the night show. So
I will say this.
sorry, in the main event.
Had a chance to meet Kyle Epperson
Mm-hmm.
when we went to St. Louis for that one West round that we got to attend, and he was one of the fortunate guys that got through that crash.
Yeah.
And was in fourth. And Michelle is like, don't know this kid. We met his mechanic. Mechanic was really nice. Met the dad, and they were pitted with Rylan at St. Louis. And Michelle's like, oh my God, this kid's gonna make it. Can you imagine what this is gonna do for this kid? He's gonna make it. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know, Michelle. Those guys are coming up pretty fast. I don't know. I'd love to have them on an interview. I feel like you've never had the chance to make it, and all of a sudden you're in fourth, and you're like, ugh!
Yeah.
Because he got swallowed up and he finished fifth. But it's like, oh man, you're that close, and you can tell like the guy behind him was like, I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna go for it. Didn't knock him down or anything. Just I'm gonna go for it. And it's like, well, you can see the difference of a guy trying to hold on and a guy with like, well, I'm already in fifth. I might as well go for it and see what happens. Yeah. But it was cool to see a kid that you had met be that close.
And that's what the LCQ is all about. Like you know that those guys. Yeah. If you got anybody within a second of you, you better buckle your seatbelt and prepare to stretch your limits because somebody, the person behind you, if you're in the last transfer spot, the person behind you is going for it. Yeah. If they're anywhere within that second.
And we had a couple riders in the 450 LCQ, didn't we? Did we have names this week or no? Or was that last week?
Trying to think. Last week was the
big name. I just want to say, I think
Dylan Ferrandis was in, and Mitchell Oldenburg.
And Dylan this week. Dylan just put a
left with it. Yeah.
Are we seeing the end of the Kyle Chisholm experience?
I think so. I mean, I think we've been talking about this for a while now, but it's
2 mains in a row.
Yeah, we lost Kyle Chisholm in that one, Justin Starling. I mean,
yeah,
some pretty decent names.
Well, Justin Starling sounds like he's going to be switching brands here soon,
which is crazy to me.
He's getting support from Honda, right?
Yeah, as much as carrying the Lawrence Brothers bikes back and forth, and there's a lot going for him. So whatever that sweet deal is, it's got to be pretty sweet.
to go onto a steel frame. It sounds like it's a Austrian
Yeah,
bike. Don't know
but
what, but
I mean, if you're when the opportunities present themselves as a privateer,
yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
And on the last 250, I don't know what Kessler's going to be racing this season outdoors because I've seen white backgrounds and black backgrounds, but I love watching these guys grind it out training.
Mm.
He's put a picture of his hands, and it's just TGO, the great outdoors, and I was like, getting back into it, and it's like he posted a video of him riding only in his chest protector, like no shirt on, like
Mm-hmm.
maximum airflow. It's like, and he's in Florida right now training, and it's like, all right, yeah, it's getting real,
Yeah.
getting real because they get a week off. Well, he won't race this weekend. They have next weekend off, and then it's California for 3 weeks,
Yep.
or I guess California 2 weeks, and then Colorado, and then, but so we danced around. We got through the heats. We got through the LCQs. Nothing really drastic happening. We get to the mains. 250 main. Sushi goes out and like gets the whole shot and says bye bye.
Sushi.
I mean that's what isn't that what the Lawrences called him for a bit?
I think so. Yeah, it was. I mean, like we already talked about it. He did what he needed to do, what he should have been doing all season. I think the points would be a lot different had he just
Not had the problems early
kept
on.
it together. I mean, obviously the clutch burning up was not him, but pretty much everything else was.
Yeah.
Just about everything else was. Um, Levi and RJ are neck and neck. You know, I am excited to see the how this all plays out this
Yeah.
weekend
Because they're not going to take each other out.
with all of them. Like it's going to be good. So it's winner takes all on this one.
Yeah.
Well, not even that because
They don't have to win.
you got 250 and as long as whoever beats the other one.
And I'm curious. Let's foreshadow. Deegan's quite a few points back from Vial. He has to basically go out and win and hope Vial has a big problem. 15 points.
Vial has to finish no less than 11th. Yeah, 11th if
no matter what.
Deegan wins.
Okay.
So if Deegan wins, Vial can finish no less than 11th. Jet, if Cooper wins, can finish no less than 17th.
Okay.
So Jet just has to get above 17 to win no matter what. So, I mean, it's a stretch on both of those.
Yeah.
But we've seen these KTM's pose a few problems for Sexton, but is it just so happen going to pose a problem for Tom Vial?
Yeah, and I kind of hope like Vial just can go out and ride. I don't think the nerves, excuse me, are going to be an issue for him. He's a 2-time world champion.
Yeah, I don't think there are really nerves at this point. Anyway, It's just it took him a little while to get the reins of Supercross, and now he's there. You see what what he can produce. So I really don't see an issue with him.
As long as Beaumer doesn't pull a McAdoo and take him out, the battle is going to be the RJ Levi battle.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you're going to watch.
And
I mean,
unless Vial's like in 14th.
It's like when we were at Nashville, I literally watched Levi the entire race. Like I couldn't even tell you what happened the rest of the race because I wanted to see how far up he would get. And obviously, being injured, he didn't do what I thought he was going to do, and we couldn't tell that from. I mean, you can tell sitting there that they're not riding like they normally do, but anything can happen, and we've seen it 100 times. So, like I said, I think it's a stretch, but he could easily be taken out, and who knows?
My pick, Vial. I think Deegan comes out with a kettle full of fire.
Yeah.
To do this, I think this is like he's built for. He does not flinch in these big moments either. Like I mean, he doesn't flinch. So I think he's going to be on fire. Vial can be like, dude, go be on fire. You can win it. That's fine. I'll finish 5 seconds behind you. I don't really care.
Deegan has also said he's going to be on fire and he wasn't going to play nice, and he really hasn't. He didn't really push a lot of great results. I mean, nothing like he said. The initiative that he acted like he was going to put forward.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to Josh Grant, Vial, and.
But if we do get a dry track, this start could be could wreak havoc for everybody. So,
But I think Vial comes out on top. I think Deegan has a good weekend and does what he needs to do.
yeah.
But I think Vial brings it home.
I can't tell Levi and RJ.
Well, they're both good. They both seem like the veteran and the new kid.
If I'm going to put my money on somebody, it's going to be Levi.
Yeah, but my heart says Florida boy, bring this home. Like
Yeah.
get your championship.
But riding, style, results, it's going to be Levi. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
he could easily go out in qualifying and totally destroy those ribs and then try to bring home a championship. Um, it'd be cool for Mitch Payton if he does, just because of
Yeah, for what they've been through.
yeah. Um, but also would be cool for Husqvarna too, and RJ.
It'd be cool for us going on because they really haven't had much to cheer about since
But
Zach Osborne.
do you think if RJ gets it, he's finally going to go to 450, or is he just going to ride the 250 out for?
Well, he'd have another year to defend, and then he'd have to go. So we wouldn't see him until 2026 on 450 Supercross. It might be one of those things he goes and does 250 outdoors this year, 250 Supercross, and then 450 outdoors next year. But that's a whole nother year. I mean, but he's got time. I mean,
Yeah,
these guys are getting older and older, and they're wiser.
he doesn't have to defend anything. I
No, he
mean,
doesn't have to. Yeah, and Husqvarna be like, "Thanks, man. Can you please go ride a 450
yeah,
for us?"
like we we got Malcolm. Now we're going to get to that because I got a couple bits on Malcolm, but Christian Craig who can't stay healthy. Love Christian Craig, I do.
Yeah,
Can't stay healthy. Um,
is he even riding?
he's back on the bike.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna guess we'll see him some outdoors. But be cool if he'd come into Salt Lake. It's not gonna happen.
No.
It's too soon. But he's back on a bike.
Okay. Yeah, but to wrap up the 250s, we do have some compelling storylines, which is actually really neat. Um, there'll be a lot to talk about next week, and we will do this early next week because we may even take a break before the outdoors.
Yeah.
um, so 250s, nothing really. The big hype now they're talking about is Beaumer could finish top 5 his first season out. They're arguing about his results. It's kind of he's walked into the top 5 position. I think the kid's done fine for KTM. I don't think he's anything special at this point, but he's young. He's young. He's a true rookie.
He's just learning.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a whole nother world. So
He's doing fine.
there's nothing to complain about.
No.
I mean, I think Roger said that they were more than happy with his results.
I think he's not. I mean, if he would have finished 10th in a full field, we all would have been like, "Hey, good job."
Yeah.
He's finishing 5th in a depleted field. It's fine. Like it's good. Like he's going to be battling. Where's Ryder DiFrancesco in this point? Like they're both rookies, but one we knew his name when he was 4. The other one was racing jet skis.
Yeah, and it seems like Beaumer is finishing above Ryder D majority of the time. So I mean, and they always keep saying that like they're pretty sure that these jet skis have played a huge part in his racing. Maybe, I don't know though.
Maybe just
like,
for core, just for balance, core, that kind
like
of stuff.
as far as racecraft and stuff like that, I don't see where
Yeah.
it really plays a part. I mean, of course, any kind of racing it prepares you for other kinds of racing, but just mentality wise. But like racing dirt bikes and jet skis are two different things. In my opinion,
one's way cooler, and I don't mean like style wise. I mean one's way cooler than the other.
no pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on 250s?
No. Like I said, it sucked not seeing Slade Rolla go through. Nice to see Joe actually get on the top step for once. And really, I'm just anxious to see this weekend more than anything.
Yeah, I may actually stay up and watch this live.
We'll be racing, so I'm not going to get to watch it live. But if I don't, I'm going to know all the results at the race. So we'll probably drag a TV along. I don't think we're taking the toy hauler this weekend, so drag a TV along and throw it up. Might have to.
Well, let's jump to 450s. We had history. History was made. There was a chance for a clinch. The clinch didn't happen. Tomac, now we understand why Tomac was just cruising in 10th. Anderson with the late season surge. Uh, Barsha, best ride of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it sucks that it took this long to put all the pieces
Yeah.
together because that's the Barsha that we know. Like he smooth, consistent, just letting it all go. It was a good ride for him. Jason Anderson was a really good ride too.
Sexton with 2 falls, and in between that, an amazing ride in between that,
Yeah,
between fall 1 and fall 2. And damn it, man, how much pressure does he put on his front wheel? He
enough.
must,
I mean, obviously the Honda couldn't take it, and
no.
that was half the issue that he battled last year.
And KTM has bent over backwards and done things they don't want to do to make this bike.
Worked for him.
Yeah, he needs I feel like he needs a Vespa suspension, Harley trail, something. He needs something that just he gets on the front end and it just sucks into the ground. He needs a gummy tire on the front end
Yeah, maybe
because
something.
God bless, I've never seen someone demand so much of the front end and it like argue back.
Yeah, yeah. There's there's not a bike that jives with him. I
No,
mean, the physical demands that he expects out of that bike, mechanical demands, I guess.
and I want to know how they keep talking about how much pressure he puts on the front wheel. You can only press in. I don't know how he's putting so much pressure on the front wheel because he doesn't ride like he's not hunkered over the front of the bike. He's off. Like, is it just the weight he's pushing through the pegs?
Yeah, I don't know, just pure strength. I mean, I'm sure that he's like an ox.
Yeah,
I mean, in all honesty, I don't know because if you've never felt Supercross suspension, it's
yeah.
wicked.
It's like 2x4s.
Yeah, I mean, trying to compress the whole shot devices
Yeah,
is not fun. I mean, not for a guy like me. It
I've watched the pros. I've watched 3 mechanics try to get devices down.
Yeah, like so. Rylan is 6'4". He'll throw his body weight on it, and I'll grab his bar pad I will hold his front tire in my knees so I have enough strength to yank down, and then I can flip his lever. But it's literally all I have to pull it
Yeah.
down. So, and it's the suspension's tight. It's supposed to be, but the A kit stuff like that they're running is gnarly. I don't know. Maybe maybe his setup's just total opposite of what he thinks he needs.
Yeah.
Or no, it's what he thinks he needs, but what he actually needs is the total
Yeah.
opposite of what he wants.
I was thinking maybe you should go because they always say like the Euros ride a little different than the Americans. Maybe he needs to go like try a Euro spec for a bit. Just like,
Try
dude,
something,
you
yeah.
need something where that front end can like hold on. But I mean, we say that it's a continual thing. Tomac dumped his front end
Yeah,
this
I mean
weekend.
that the track was so hard. I don't even think you could take this track and be like, oh yeah, we need to make changes
Yeah,
because it was so. I mean, it was loose, not loose, hard. It was hard and slippy. I mean, you could see how shiny it
yeah.
was. So I, I as a team owner, I couldn't be like, we're changing the bike
No, no, no.
at Denver because
Yeah,
the next track would. I mean, the next track might not be totally different, but you know what I mean.
but I think also I, there was a lot of harping on Sexton's 2 falls, but I want to congrat. What a freaking ride from dead last to battling for a podium spot before he went down again.
Yeah,
Like
on that track.
on that track, and that's the thing. Yes, he fell twice, but he was pushing. He was pushing the fastest laps through traffic to get to third,
Yeah.
and that's when it all went south. But so I want to give him props because that gun man. I mean,
No, he's an incredible rider,
that was a
and
hell of a ride.
another big one this weekend to me was Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah,
That boy has not looked that good in a long time, and to qualify second
yeah.
is really good for him. Out of everybody, I watched him in qualifying. I'm like, holy shit, because it gave me flashbacks of Bubba. Like I could see Bubba on
Oh,
that bike. Like honestly, smooth and just letting it go. Um, the big thing that I noticed with Malcolm was that who was I think he was Webb he was going for.
Oh, the out.
Dude, he come in that thing so fast.
He like tried to Deegan it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Had that been Bubba, Bubba could have done that.
You think he would have pulled it off?
I do. Malcolm, honestly, in my opinion, ran out of talent. I guess you say. Honestly, like
It was the fastest crack.
I'm not saying he's untalented
No, 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 no.
by any means, but I seriously think that like that was his
Do
limit.
you think he grabbed a handful, got to that speed, got to the corner like, I ain't slowing down now?
I think he knew what he was doing.
You think so? He was
I
just going
just
to
think
slingshot that
I
corner.
just think his exit was just not where it should have been
Yeah.
by any means. But if he could have leaned himself back up a little bit, he just was literally laid flat, and he carried that laying down
Too far.
momentum. Like you can't carry that the whole way through because he was going to spin a 360 if he'd held on to it. Yeah, if he'd have stood back up just a split second sooner, like he would have, you would have, that probably would have been the MVP play of the year because he would have shot out of that
Yeah.
through that straight stretch. Like that, it was absolutely incredible the speed that he carried through there, and it was so awesome to see that camera shot, and it was just him flying through there. Like to me, it was incredible. Like I said, he definitely ran out of talent right there at the end. I do think Bubba in his prime would have shot right through there, but that was it was wild.
So you had some bits you said on Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean that
Oh,
was
okay. That was
pretty
it?
much it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the way that he rode was phenomenal, and you don't see him pull stuff like that
Yeah.
typically. He clearly just felt good. Um, they have a camp coming up here pretty quick.
Before.
402 MX was redoing the tracks a
Oh,
couple
really?
weeks ago, so they got a cool camp coming up right here at the compound. I'm excited to see that, just the training aspects of it. But I wish we were there.
Um, Speaking of good rides, Justin Cooper
Yeah,
put in a good ride.
he he's kind of where he always is. He looked good though,
Yeah.
like he just consistent.
Is he the guy that if they all had personalities, is he the guy that carries the little briefcase and he's got like just a button down Oxford and some dress shoes and just goes to work? Like you don't hear anything from him. Like nothing.
He's just it's
Just
quiet.
go to work.
Hmm.
Like Plessinger has his cowboy hat in the hole. Yeah. Justin Cooper is the all right, and Cooper Webb is the guy pulling pranks, doing wedgies and
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, and the silent
harder than Morningwood. And,
yeah.
yeah,
Like he's that guy. So like there's all these personalities. A Jet is the quarterback. You know, he's going to steal
yeah,
the cheerleader, and
definitely the jockey.
Hunter is the little brother who's actually the older brother who's like, well, he's good. You know, we'll let you have some scraps. And the sad thing is Hunter is the whole reason this exists.
Yeah, but Hunter, when he's up there and he's in the position that he was in, he's so happy.
Yeah,
That boy is. It's like a kid at a candy store.
there was a lot of talk this week about the position. It must be so good paying Dazzy back, and I'm like, Jet made like $13 million last year. Don't you think he's paid Dazzy back at this point? Like, I'm sure
He's
that
been
sacrifice
long paid back.
that sacrifice has been paid off.
$1 million is probably beyond paying that back.
I understand the philosophy, but the storyline is like, okay, we get it. Like, they sacrificed everything. It paid off. It worked. We're good. Like,
Yeah, they're running free at this point.
they're both good. They run a successful VIP thing.
Jets and Donuts. I mean, they got the old Reed compound.
They're good.
They're more than good.
They're good.
Jet's
So,
got all kinds of cars he's playing with.
yeah, it's all fantastic. Dazzy's fine. Dazzy's doing the role Dazzy wants to do,
Mm-hmm.
and that sacrifice. You know who's getting the best out of it is their brother Tate. He never has to worry about anything.
No, and he's just living
Yeah.
the life. He's the funniest kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got to meet him?
No, I haven't got to meet him.
He's so funny. I mean, obviously you watch the video. He is no different in them videos as he is in person. I
Really?
mean, he's just happy
Yeah,
all
he's
the time.
and he had to sacrifice too because this wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
He sacrificed. He just gets drug all over the world. But now it's like, yeah, you never, kid, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. We got
He
you.
has everything he wants.
We got you. You're good.
You
So,
know he's more than spoiled.
yeah, and of course, why not?
Yeah.
Like, but no, I guess we should jump in. Congratulations, everybody's. Oh, he's not going to pass him, dude. Of course he's going to pass him. He's faster.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter made it sound like I understood the point situation as well too. Like I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to give him as much cushion as possible.
No, like I knew Jet wasn't going to be aggressive about it, but he wasn't going to sit in second.
No,
It's just that is not a racing instinct. I don't care. I have raced my brother before, and I have put my brother on the ground before. It doesn't matter. Your racing instincts is to not sit behind somebody. I would have been more shocked if he didn't pass him than him passing him. I mean, I wasn't shocked that he passed him at all. Like
yeah.
he's doing what he's supposed to do. He needed the extra point.
Yeah.
I mean those points mean a lot.
Those are bonus points that made this weekend coming up easier.
Yeah. Yes, and I mean now he doesn't have to finish more than 17th.
Yeah, and that's important.
Yeah,
because this championship solidifies him. If he gets this championship, because he raced everybody. If he gets this championship, he raced everybody.
Puts
everybody.
all the talk to.
And he has the most wins. He has the most wins. He won Anaheim 1.
His laps led are incredible.
Yeah.
This year.
So I know he would only be a motocross champion and a one-time supercross champion, but his motocross was perfection. His supercross is in this field, to have as many wins as he has is incredible.
Yeah. You can't even say like, oh, we've lost a few riders, and he has more wins than anybody.
He battled everybody.
Yeah, he had a downfall,
yeah.
For a few weeks, but there ain't many riders that don't. Tomac last year was pretty dominant, but even he had a couple races here and there that he just wasn't feeling it. Like they're, as we say time again, they are humans, and they're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, they're gonna slip up. They're gonna lose focus. I mean, Tim Ferry talked about calculating his retirement fund in his head going over jumps.
Uh-huh.
You think Jet, when in Dallas, I think it was Dallas, where he clipped ran into the back of Freeze, and Detroit where he hit where 2 races in a row where he crashed, kind of had, dude, they're thinking about something, they're focused, and all of a sudden it's like they get tunnel vision, and I gotta hit this rhythm, and they just lose. It's not a whole bunch, it's a percentage that they lose.
All it takes is looking up and being like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Because there's times in a race you're not paying attention.
You're just going through the motions. You're just
like when you're hitting the same line over and over and over, it gets to be muscle memory.
Yeah.
When you're pushing the 15 lap mark, it's literally muscle memory. Like I've trained arena cross, and I'll ride the same track for 3 hours straight. And obviously you take breaks in between, but you're literally hitting the same line over and over.
That's why they call it the goat trail.
Yeah. And then you'll eat the dirt, and then it kind of wakes you back up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I should have been paying attention.
Yeah. So but he's had a great season, and you can take nothing away from him. And yeah, he made a couple of comments. He had his grow up session with Anderson. He's had those moments but through all those moments, he could have collapsed. He could have said, I'm not ready for this yet.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. He's just come back out and won. His brother, congratulations. I think his brother's going to be fine. I don't know if his brother will ever win a championship. I don't know. But if you're running second, third,
it's not like
fifth,
he's doing bad.
I think he has a job. I don't know if that means maybe one day he and his brother aren't on the same team because money's better somewhere. I don't know. I don't know.
That's one thing that I don't think you'll ever see them split apart.
Really?
I don't.
You don't. Let's say 2 years from now, Kawasaki's like, dude, we need a championship. We're opening the bank and going after Jet. Well, maybe Kawasaki's bad because it's a monster thing, but some program that wants to win a
Yeah, I mean
championship.
KTM, I guess with Red
Gas,
Bull.
gas.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, are they gonna
Ducati doesn't come after him
are
at
they
some
gonna
point.
switch at some point? Probably. But if I was a betting man, Jed said not unless my brother comes. You know, I almost guarantee it because then they're kind of so family oriented that you split them up, then of course the family's still at each race,
Yeah.
but they're training in a different spot. I mean, oh, really, are they though? They'll probably be training still at their facility, but there's gonna. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and it's valid.
And unless Hunter gets to a point where he's like, I need to change.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to get away from the Jetson hype and kind of be my own person. But I don't even see it happening.
yeah, and he would be for Jed. It would be a dollars and cents thing. For Hunter, it would be I got to do my own thing. And for Dazzy, it's like, oh, where do I go?
Yeah,
Because he's their trainer. He is
and I think it's going to be
their riding trainer, not their trainer.
whatever he thinks.
Yeah,
I bet the ultimate decision comes down to him.
or Lucas.
Yeah,
I mean,
unfortunately, yeah. I think he plays a Jack kind of says or does what he says,
yeah,
which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. He obviously is pretty good at his job, but I don't think that his job is what got. I think Jet got to where he is financially and
yeah.
all that because of Jet, not
Well,
because of
Lucas found them. He
correct.
opened the door. They proved what they could do.
Yeah,
So it's a tandem. I mean, it's a two way.
yeah.
And I think he gets rewarded for their success.
Oh yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
I think he's rewarded for some of the marketing ideas that have come about have been
yeah,
his
and
things.
I can't say like I can't knock the guy because I'm kind of in the same situation.
I, yeah, but as you start wearing skinny jeans,
No,
uh,
I don't look like him.
yeah,
I'm saying like it's kind of the same philosophy like where we are at right now.
yeah,
Um, found a rider, kind of want to give a rider a shot, but also know the talent. So it's not totally two different talent levels, but still, I mean, I don't know.
it's
I
relative. It's
guess
relative.
playing the same kind of role
Yeah,
at a different level.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, the quiet one, Jason Anderson, quietly gets on the podium again.
yeah. It's good to see. He rode well.
He did. He was coming too. Like he made some passes. He was not going. He was not. He did not settle in. Let's put it that way. He did not settle in,
No,
and that was good to see. So, really, I don't, I can't think of anything back of the pack that happened. Um,
now honestly, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Honestly, this race was good, but it kind of set the stone for what's going to unfold
yeah,
this weekend. So um, there was nothing really crazy. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm honestly, truly, this is probably one of the first times that I've been this excited for
the
the
finale.
last
Yeah,
round.
I'm excited for the last round. To be quite honest, I'm kind of excited for outdoors because I feel like, especially on the 250 side, dude, there's some big hitters in the
Yeah,
250s. It's going to be fun. 450s, I'm a little nervous that Jet's just going to run away. I know that there's some good
I
riders.
I truthfully don't see where he has any competition right now.
I don't see anybody. Maybe he doesn't go 22-0 again,
No, but he's gonna.
win the championship.
He's yeah. I mean, I there's not a doubt in my mind that he's actually gonna take it home again.
Yeah, and then you wonder like how long can you do that for?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm anxious to see. His career's awesome,
Yeah.
but at his level, it's like,
Do you get bored at some
yeah,
point?
how soon do we get somebody else that can compete with him?
Yeah.
Because right now you can get a guy that compete. You can get a guy to compete with him every once in a while, but not on a, a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree. I agree. I think
unless he gets tired or takes himself out like normal or just needs a change, I don't think there's any competition.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's truly when Daniel Blair called him a generational talent a few years ago, a couple years now, people made fun of him, and damn it, he was right. He was
Oh,
right.
easily, yeah. I mean that line still sticks to today.
Yeah.
So
So, well, that's about it for Supercross. Any updates on 827? I know there was no racing at Dade this past weekend. Racing this Saturday for you guys.
yeah, we're gonna race Dade this weekend. Really no updates. Trying to get some sponsors. That's our big thing right now. And a bike. Bike is a major setback at this point. Bikes are not cheap. We wanted to make the switch to Yamaha. That's posing a challenge. The YZ250F is hard to come by, surprisingly.
They're probably all sitting in a Tallahassee warehouse.
Yeah, but they are probably the best bike right now. So we did find a Cowie though, local, Gibbons Power Sports. Just called them this afternoon. They still have it for a sweet deal. So
So if you're listening to this, don't go buy it.
yes, please don't go buy it. This is the 2020 Cowie is on its last leg. So we are hoping and praying that we can get over there tomorrow and work some kind of financing out on this thing and get him on a new bike before regionals because that is coming very quickly and we aren't prepared. So we got like 2 weeks till regionals, 3 weeks, and we're gonna be starting on a fresh bike. And that's half the reason I'm at this point. We're just gonna stick with Cowie, I think, because I can take my built suspension and we can just swap them over and kind of play around with some settings up until then. The Cowie would be a no-brainer if they had the programmable ECU like Yamaha does, that I could do it all on my phone, and we can change it for track conditions right there. Um, that's the only thing that's holding us back from the Cowie right now. Like we have my bike on the aggressive map. We only get 3 map settings,
Yeah.
so it's it's so hard to when you're now doing it at this level and you're trying to get somewhere. It's like shit. I need to be able to tune this thing. And then we get this weekend at Denver, and I look at all the tuning problems. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to send ECUs off and have them tuned all the time. So that's where we're at right now. We've gained a lot of cool traction this week. We've had 2 different companies and or individuals. I would say more individuals than companies reach out and want to do video edits for us, which is really cool. It's just I I guess I didn't really expect it to take off this quick. Um, don't get me wrong, social media still got like 100 followers, but still not bad in a week.
Yeah.
But um, the the traction, just I guess from being locally known, is kind of taking off. It's pretty cool. So hopefully we can just keep building from here. We got to get a bike. That's said. Hopefully tomorrow is the day we can go pick up a bike and um, Caleb's going to be running Robert Noah's race bike this weekend at
Okay.
Dade City. We actually got that news today. So he was asked if he would ride it. So under us, he's going to ride Robert Noah's bike at Dade City, which is going to be really cool. Um, Kind of as like a memorable event.
Yeah.
So Mother's Day race this weekend. Trying to talk my wife into getting on the pit bike and doing the Mother's Day race.
How do they do that? Is it moms on the pit bike
Yep,
themselves?
mom's on the pit
Oh, I
bike.
didn't know if they did a tandem.
So they do that with the dads for Father's Day,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna guess they don't want the mums on the 65s if they're not
Yeah.
if they shouldn't be on them. I highly doubt my wife's gonna get on one because of the clutch. If we had a CRF, I think, or one of those the G3s, the electric pit bikes, I think she might actually be more willing to do it. Um, but it's fun to watch. I'm hoping I can get her out there,
Put her on the electric 50.
get some good video content. Wonder if I could. I'm gonna see if I can.
I mean, she's probably not going to win, right? There's probably a mom out there that can rail.
Oh yeah, Marissa Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much has it wrapped in the bag.
Yeah.
But
God, she was such a good rider.
She still is.
She's still riding?
She's still riding.
Oh,
She's still racing.
she was such a good rider
Yeah.
back in the day when she was a little kid.
She's not racing all the time, but she's still racing quite a bit.
She's being a
So
mom.
yeah. Obviously, yeah, all bets are going to be on Mercy Hampshire,
Yeah.
but it's still fun to see them go out there and just get out of the mum role for a little bit and just spin a lap.
That's cool.
So Brand always says, I want to race once. Well,
here
it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. So yeah, that's what we're into. Like I said, just sponsors right now. That's what we have got to get sponsors. That's the only thing that keeps this dream alive. That and working day and night for me. So we got a lot of cool video edits coming up. Like I said, I've been putting out some video edits and on our social media and just keep growing. Just keep growing. I think this next week we'll have some better updates.
Yeah. Cool. Well, next week early, we will discuss Salt Lake City, what happened in Salt Lake City, the upcoming Pro Nationals, and the Dade City, and any of the 827 news that needs to be touched on. So, sorry for the late episode this week, man. It is what it is,
Life happens.
But he is Derek Schaefer with DBS Custom Fabrication, Handyman Services, and 827MX. I'm Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. Together, we are Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. And this has been episode 54. We will see you all in just a couple days. Bye-bye.